P1 AquaX is a new style of watercraft competition for sea riding enthusiasts who want to pull back the throttle and open it up.
The AquaX Championships are fought out at 5 locations. So far, we've had 3 rounds, the opener in Plymouth, and then the crews headed north to Hull, before returning to the south coast of England and Eastbourne. Before this, the 4th leg in the campaign, the Isle of Wight and Cowes. And then it's on to Weymouth, which is the setting for the final encounter in September. Russell Marmon came from behind to win the opening race at the previous round in Eastbourne and extend his championship lead over 300 class rival Jim Goodchild. Having made a slow start and trailing in 4th place at the end of the first lap, the 49-year-old then set about regaining lost water and eventually was locked head-to-head with Goodchild as they tossed the lead between one another until lap 7, when Marmon made the move that was to prove decisive in their battle. Marmon pulled away as Goodchild fell back, and he was overtaken a couple of laps later by Tim Batt and had to settle for 3rd place. Russell Marmon was back to dominating the P1 AquaX Championship with another emphatic win to extend his lead in the 300 class title race. The day before, he'd had to come from behind to win, but in race 2, he was first into Mark 1 and never looked back as he revelled in the choppy waters of the English Channel. Going into the next round, this is how the championships look, with Marmon, Shepley and Johnston, the men at the top in their categories.
Russell, you have a 7-point lead over Jim going into Cowes weekend. What's your strategy?
To be honest with you, I don't really have a strategy. I'll just go out there and do my best, and that's all you can ask for. I don't get stressed about things, and you know, I think if you just stay relaxed before racing, that's the best way to be. So I'll just go out there and do my stuff like I normally do, and hopefully I can do well again this weekend.
Dave, 5 points off the lead going into Cowes this weekend.
Yeah.
What's your plan, obviously?
Yeah, just hope nothing goes wrong. Keep the consistency. I've had a nice consistent run for the last few races, so hopefully do the same again. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the weather this weekend?
It's going to be bad, rough. It's going to be similar to Hull. Yeah, similar to Hull, I think.
There are something in the region of 30 jet skiers taking to the waters around Egypt Point, contesting 4 all-action classes, which show how P1 AquaX has taken a massive leap forward this year in terms of both competitiveness and popularity. The green flag has been waved to get racing underway, and there are more riders from the length and breadth of the UK taking part than ever before. 5th in the 300 class and also leader of the standalone Sea-Doo Challenge is Steve Robinson. Meanwhile, leading the 300s early on is Jim Goodchild ahead of Russell Marmon. While in the 200 class, Duncan Johnston is on course to retain his crown. But the Yamaha FX 160 rider, and that's who we ride with, is only 9 points ahead of Kawasaki's Chris Leach, due to the latter making up some ground on his rival last time out. Jim Goodchild was leading Russell Marmon in the 300 class until water began leaking into his jet ski, slowing him down. Back in the 200s, Duncan Johnston was in pursuit of title rival Chris Leach. Ian Mull was in the mix for the outright and 300 class podium early on, running an excellent 3rd until he was thrown off his Kawasaki on lap 4 and therefore unable to continue. The replay shows the rider getting crossed up on the waves. Then it's a classic case of splash and crash. Sea-Doo Challenge pace setter Paul Ribbett would go on to have a very enjoyable race. There were more crashes and splashes throughout as conditions continued to prove tricky. In the 250 category, Dave Hiddleston would go on to steer his Kawasaki Ultra 250 to victory over Matt Shipley. The closest lead battle was in the 200s, a mammoth scrap between Yamaha riders Johnston and Leach. 50 is Chris Leach, and being passed by 92 Richard Cable on the more powerful 300 Kawasaki Ultra. Russell Marmon would be the first overall competitor to pass the checkered flag. Duncan Johnston was pushing hard in the 200s. But it was Chris Leach who took the spoils in that category. It's a confirmation of the results and wins for both Marmon and Leach, while Dave Huddleston was top dog in the 250 class ahead of Matt Shipley.
Well done. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was choppy. It was quite rough actually, but then you know it's great. I mean that's how I like it. So it was perfect for me. I hate flat water racing.
Every time I went to go flat out, it was just a misfire, constant misfire, which became quite dangerous because it was quite wavy. As you take off and land, you end up the engine stalls and you stop dead and hit the handlebars, and then you risk someone running to the back of you. So I decided to pull off really.
So we've got a moment down here on the seafront in Cowes to catch up with Daniela from BRP and Sea-Doo. Great to see you, Daniela. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And you're here, of course, this weekend promoting Sea-Doo and giving people a chance to get out on one of these.
Definitely. Sea-Doo is now being promoted into the AquaX with the Sea-Doo Challenge.
Yeah.
We have some skiers going out there today, having fun. And actually, every race we have a possibility for people to test ride the Sea-Doo.
People can just come along, sign up and get on and have a go.
Exactly, and especially with this one, this is the new RXP, the new RXP X260, and it's actually a brilliant race. It's one of the skis of Paul Rivet, actually. He's racing on one of them. And people can indeed try them out, sign up here and have fun.
And can anyone just get on one and go? Do you have to have a license, or you can just buy one and go and then you're on your own?
If you want to go racing, yes, you need a license, but if you want to have it for pleasure, you can just take it out, and that's the beauty of UK.
And race 2 saw incredibly challenging, rough conditions off Egypt Point on the Isle of Wight due to the wind, rain and choppy seas. Certainly a lot worse than the competitors had encountered in the previous race, and proving how quickly the Solent can turn. So plenty of air as the boys and girls got underway, and Russell Marmon getting away at the front ahead of everyone else. The pictures provided by Steve Robinson showing just how demanding the sea was being. Russell Marmon has often been quoted on how he prefers the rougher the better, and his early actions were backing up his words. Car racer Paul Rivet was looking for his 7th consecutive win, which includes the Renault Clio Cup. As the race wore on, conditions were far from improving, and if anything, were getting worse. No problem for Russell Marmon, though, who continued to cut his way through the water. In the 250 class, Dave Huddleston was leading and odds-on to take his 2nd victory of the day. Staying out of the wake of other competitors was proving a popular tactic. Richard Cable was another to fall victim to the incredibly rough water when he was dramatically flung off his ski on lap 6. Watch as he gets big air, and then just as he lands, his arms cross up, and that's the end of his challenge. A 2nd in the 300s for Tim Batt in race 1, and he was looking to at least repeat the feat in race 2. In the 250s, it would be Duncan Johnston's turn to get the better of Chris Leach this time, as the two swapped their final positions from the earlier race. As for Marmon, no troubles as he eased his way to the checkered flag. So wins for Huddleston, Johnston and Marmon, with the Kawasaki Ultra 300 rider revelling in the rough seas around the Isle of Wight.
I think you can take it easy in Weymouth.
Well, you can never take it easy because you never know what's going to happen. You know, I could break down and then get no points, and then someone's done well, you know, coming 2nd and 3rd or the odd 1st. So you can never really relax until the game's over.
I was late for the start line, just about made it as the green flags went up. Went down the first run in about 6th place, got into 2nd within 2 turns. Thought that will do me nicely, and just turned around the corner, just started playing up again. That was the end of it. So I'd tried another couple of laps, but it's just the same story as Motor 1, really.
I'm really chuffed today because I really didn't think I was going to walk into this championship and be winning the Sea-Doo Challenge, which we've now taken the lead from Steve on, so I'm sure he won't be too happy about that. But we had another great race out there again today. We really did.
This is how the 3 Aquacross titles are shaping up going into the final round at Weymouth. 300 looks settled, but all to play for in both 200 and 250.
And with that, it's a fond farewell to the Isle of Wight.